Hi, welcome to another episode of Cooking for the Yum of It. As you may recall, in a previous episode I told you how I enjoy soup. Well, I also enjoy casserole, and that's what I'll be making this time. A slow cooker sweet potato casserole. Let's get started. So, the first thing we're going to do is dice the onion. Abracadabra. Well, looks like I used a little too much magic on that one because the onion I chopped somehow magically combined with the extra onion and some green onion I had from when I did the beef broth, the basic bone broth, excuse me, and the egg drop, aka paleo breakfast soup. But that's okay. Nothing wrong with having some extra onion. That's why science invented toothpaste. Now our next ingredient we're going to prepare is the I'm going to do a red bell pepper. I like red bell peppers. They're very sweet. I like a nice sweet, but not super sugary sweet flavor of the red bell pepper. And we take out the seeds and the ribs. Sorry, I'll try to keep this in camera range at all time. Okay, these I'm going to have to... They're stuck in there pretty good. Thank goodness for indoor running water. Now we want to dice these as well as we can. Oh, that one got away almost. Add that with our chopped yellow and green onion. Okay. Now we do our green bell pepper. Go these. The green, maybe it's just the ones I end up buying, always seem to have so much more seed than the yellow or the red bell pepper. So I'm going to be out of camera for a second while I clean these off in the sink. And we're back. Let's slice up our green bell pepper here and slice it and dice it. Oh, I missed a piece of rib there. Take that off. will be an interesting experience because I've made casseroles before, but they've always included cheese. And cheese is something you cannot have on the paleo diet, which is what I've been on for the since January 26th. December 26th of 2021. I'm seeing if I can keep it up for an entire year. I'll let you know how that worked on December 25th. Okay, and that is our onions and bell pepper. Now our next step in this process is to first bring up our pan here, and we're going to take 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and we're going to brown our 1 pound of sausage meat while the pan is getting hot. I'm going to open up my sausage, and I just dropped the scissors, but oh, you didn't see it, so it didn't happen. Get as much of the pan as possible. Here we've got 1 pound of sausage meat in my hand. Swirl that around. It's going to be a while before this gets into the appropriate. And make sure we don't leave any pink bits. Okay. You never want to eat undercooked pork. That's a big no-no. Okay, this is going to take a while, so let's use some magic and skip ahead. Abracadabra. And there we have it. 1 pound of perfectly browned and perfectly cooked sausage meat. So now we go on to our next step. Our next step being to coat the inside of our slow cooker with some non-stick spray. Now, move our camera around, and we'll be peeling before we shred, pardon my arm, our 3 sweet potatoes. Now, peeling sweet potatoes is a bit of a bother, so let's not bother with it and use magic instead. Abracadabra. Okay, now that the magic has peeled my sweet potatoes. Our next step is going to be to shred the potatoes. I won't be using magic for that. I will be using my magic bullets, which you may have seen me use to spiralize zucchini for my schnitzel mit Zudel, or slice up the vegetables when I made the tian. Okay, first, I can tell you right now, you're going to have to slice each one in half. Okay, position here. Isn't that lovely? It's a great way if, for those of you who aren't doing paleo, you can also use one of these to make hash browns in a hurry. For the bits of sweet potato that are left, I don't like to waste anything. Remember, Woodrow Wilson, waste not, want not. So these we can slice as finely as possible without cutting our fingers. I'm not going to put any of my finger in the casserole. But anyway, Woodrow Wilson, waste not, want not. And of course, there's also some of the sweet potato that didn't quite make it out of the veggie bullet. Actually, maybe it's because it's just a color, but this reminds me of, without the raisins, of course, reminds me of the carrot raisin salad. It almost looks like that. Okay, wash my hands real quick and go on to our next step. Our next step being to sprinkle our shredded sweet potato into the slow cooker. Get that spread nice and evenly as possible. Now, we go on to our next step. Our next step being to sprinkle our onions and bell peppers on top of the shredded sweet potato. Remember, in the description I'm going to put the recipe as it appears in the book, but please remember I am adding some extra onion, both yellow onion and green onion that I had left over from when I made the basic bone broth and the paleo breakfast, aka egg drop soup. And I don't think I can say too many times, I do not like to waste food. And now on to our next step. Our next step being to add the mushrooms. This is 1/2 pound or 8 ounces, same thing, of sliced mushrooms. I did not slice them myself. I will admit to that right now. I got these pre-sliced at the grocery store, specifically the Smart and Final down the street. Okay, that's it for the mushrooms. Now, oh, sorry about that. I really need a cameraman. Anyone living in the Sacramento area watching this video who's willing to work literally for food, please contact me. Leave some contact information in the description, in the comment section down below. Okay, 1 second. Our next step is to prepare 10 large eggs. That's 2. Which we will beat together with some paprika, oregano, salt, pepper, and a little extra olive oil. And finally, the 10th egg. Reminded of an episode of Golden Girls, like little balls of sunshine floating in a bowl. Okay, let me get my whisk. Oh, go. Beat these eggs senseless. You can do it this way, you can do it this way, and so long as the eggs are well beaten. Oh, I don't want to make a mess. Okay. Now we're going to be using 1 tablespoon of paprika. Let me get my tablespoon here. And 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And no, I'm not talking about Popeye's girlfriend. Ooh, made a nice ploppy sound. And let me see, how much was that again? 2 tablespoons of oregano. Now this oregano was Williams-Sonoma. It was one of the gifts I got from my Secret Santa. And it's the first time I've used it. I've used the other seasonings, just not the oregano yet. Okay, before we proceed, we're also going to need every kitchen cook's friend, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper. Okay, I'm trying to cook with less salt, so I'm only going to use 1/4 teaspoon of salt, but I don't want the food to be bland, so I'm going to use 1/2 teaspoon. 1/4 and 1/4 makes 2. You don't have to use as much pepper as me. This is just my personal preference. I personally prefer pepper. Okay. Get that. Excuse me. Alright, I sneezed in the opposite direction, away from the food. Okay. And before we add the egg, let's not forget our sausage meat. We sprinkle that over there as evenly as we can. We pour our egg mixture place our lid thus, get a paper towel to wipe off my hand, which is kind of greasy now. Pardon. Whoop. Sorry about that. Okay. We're going to go manual. We're going to set the temperature at low, and we're going to be cooking this for about 6 hours. I will see you in 6 hours. Okay, it has now been 6 hours later. Ooh. It smells so good. I'll take the temp down to keep warm. Let me get a plate. Sorry about that. Now let's scoop down here. Okay. A little bit more. And I will go and have my dinner. Paleo casserole. Okay. Oh, that tastes so good. It's a little bit hot, but of course it just came out of the slow cooker. This is definitely a winner, and something I can see making again. If there's ever something, if the world ever gets back to a point where we can have potlucks and get-togethers again without worrying about the COVID-19. So anyway, that's the recipe. One paleo casserole. First casserole I ever made that didn't have cheese in it, and it's quite tasty. So I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Please like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for my next episode. Until then, always remember, eat and enjoy.